Hey, greetings, uh, inhabitants of Earth. Those male and female type inhabitants of Earth, of all species, of all genders. LGBT. God bless you guys, man. You're a source of a lot of creativity. And quite a bit of creativity. An appreciation of beauty. LGBT. That's what I'm talking about. The rainbow crowd. I saw a painter recently on Sunday morning. What the hell was his name? Huff? He, skinny dude. I believe he's in New York. I'll have to double check that. He's been painting a long time, and recently one or two of his paintings went for a lot of money, and the rush is on to get all of his work. He was on Sunday morning, CBS Sunday morning. Really good story. The guy was pleased about the commercial success of his work, and I'll tell you what, that is a wonderful thing, and I've experienced that. I got to remember to thank God for that. My photography has touched people, and as it was commercially successful, although I wasn't much of a businessman, I guess. And it's just difficult to understand about, coming from hourly wage situations to where I should be charging $300, $400, $600 a day for my time, which I do. But then I did some other things that were a little bit stupid. But as far as how much to charge commercial clients and stuff like that, but was commercially successful. So anyway, this artist, he paints. So his work started showing some similarities in style to Vincent van Gogh, and his stuff is compelling, and it's intriguing. It is January 8th, 2023. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Eagles and the Giants at 4:25. It's a 16-point spread, which I couldn't believe when I saw that. I imagine the game's in Philadelphia with that kind of a spread. The Eagles really need this game to go 14-2. No, 14-3. Oh, right? I think so. Yeah, they're 13-3 now. Yeah. So anyway, should be an interesting game. But this artist, there was they started asking about his, the turning point, because he looked to be in his 50s, and he's been poor. The cliche stereotype of the the starving artist. That was him, apparently, and he ran out of money a number of times and had to beg, borrow, and I don't know if he stole anything, but if I don't have any money and I'm hungry, I'm going to steal something. I think most people would. Starvation and hunger can drive you to those extremes. But he had a boyfriend. Now, it wasn't confirmed in the story, but it seemed to me he was probably gay. And he said, yeah, his work and his career turned around when he met this guy, and the guy looked a lot younger than him, and then was a really good influence on him. And then this partner of his committed suicide. And I have to say, I have a high admiration and respect for people that kill themselves for really basic reasons. Number one, it takes a lot of courage to do that. Most people put themselves out to the extreme to try to stay alive. Somebody that takes their own life, well, their reasons could be any number of things, but the bottom line is there's no options for them. And I get that, not having any options. It happens as you age, too. Your options dwindle. Really, anybody that's in my age bracket, anybody between 65, over 65, will attest to that, I'm sure. Unless you're like some famous rich person, if you have money, there's more options. But most people, as they get to my age bracket, the options dwindle and disappear. I have a lot of respect and for that kind of courage and that kind of fortitude to be able to take your own life when you feel like it's time. And this guy, the painter, didn't seem all that bothered by that fact, that his partner killed himself. Is it sad? It can be at a young age, but like Ernest Hemingway at 63, he could feel his mind slipping after the kind of career he had. And so he couldn't practice his profession of choice anymore, and he couldn't deal with it. So like that option was gone, and there were no other options for him. So he I don't really need the sunglasses today. So he takes a shotgun and blows his brains out. Now, the way I look at that is that there's several pluses or positives to killing yourself like that. One is that it's over. Okay, so like, let's say you wanted to kill yourself, but you didn't want to go through the trauma and the pain of inflicting a wound to yourself like that, and you decide you're going to take, like Heath Ledger did. He didn't commit suicide. He just partied too much, I think. But what killed him was a combination of Valium and narcotics. So it's a peaceful way to go, I believe. Your heart, well, actually, your breathing is going to stop. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to be able to breathe. And when your lungs don't do their job, you don't have very long to go. It's pretty quick, from what I understand. Like, your brain can go without oxygen for 2 or 3 minutes, something like that. Although Damar Hellman, who had a heart attack on the field last week for the defensive cornerback for the Buffalo Bills, he collapsed with a heart attack, and I don't know if they got the heartbeat restored that quickly in 2 or 3 minutes. So I guess you Google that and get the official word, right? Yeah, and the theme song for the hit television series MASH, the title of that theme song, "Suicide is Painless." Who knows that? If you commit suicide, have you ever interviewed anybody that's committed suicide? Well, did it hurt? After you did it, did you wish that you hadn't done it? I think we all have the right to control our own destiny in that regard, and that nobody should take that away from you. That's my opinion. I think the laws of government, of states, differ in that, well, suicide's illegal. Well, okay, if I commit suicide, are you going to put me on trial? In absentia? What are you going to do? It's illegal. Okay, so attempted suicide, if you... This is so... Oh, God. My species is so screwed up. It's incredible. And then I watched Star Trek Next Generation, and the brilliance and the love of Gene Roddenberry is evident in that, and especially the first Star Trek and then Star Trek Next Generation. His involvement is evident because always there is the willingness to connect with another person and try to have dialogue with your enemies or people that are trying to harm you. Doesn't always work though, because there's always that one person that's not going to stop. There's the kind of people in our species, and I've known a few, that the more you appease them, the more ruthless and violent they get. And that's evident a lot. Like you try to, you try to negotiate with somebody that's giving you a hard time. Man, you show weakness in a situation like that, you could be in for some bad stuff. So that's what I've told my kids too, especially my boys. Anyway, I hope you're all in good health, and I hope the Eagles get a win today because that'll give them a bye and a number one seed. So all their games are at home. It's hard to say though this year, man. There's some good teams. Cincinnati, man. Whew. Boy, I tell you what, that offense is a juggernaut. And they got some all-pro guys on defense too, so they're going to be a tough team to beat. Buffalo, of course. Ooh, yay. Well, Buffalo and Cincinnati squared off last week, and that's when this DeMar Hillman had his heart attack, and so they canceled the game. He dropped on the field, and the doctors went out and did CPR to restart his heart right on the field. You talk about game-time drama. Drama. So who else is good? Of course, Kansas City. Whew, they're good too, man. I think Cincinnati's the best team, though. I really are. They've got some wide receivers that are insanely good. I mean, Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Those three, man. They're all three of them are all pro. The fastest one is Chase. Higgins might give him a run for the money. And they call Tyler Boyd an old man. Seriously, an old man. He's 28 years old. He doesn't have the speed that Chase has, but got a great pair of hands, and he's got great knowledge of the game and how to get open. So anyway, those are my thoughts on suicide. I was thinking about Dr. Kervokian. Is it Kervokian? The guy that specialized in assisted suicide. And every time I heard him talk, I agree with him on everything he said. The people have the right to do this if they can't stand living it. They just can't, like, Ernest Hemingway. Instead of blowing your head off with a shotgun, assisted suicide makes you calmly go unconscious and fall asleep permanently. That sounds better to me than shooting yourself. I'm not trying to bring you guys down. I'm just saying that this is my point of view, and I was thinking about that artist. Check that guy out, man. It was like within the last month or two on CBS Sunday morning. Good story, though. It's great to see a guy like that break through and have some success. Anyway, my dog is getting anxious over here. He wants to get out and freeze to death. It's like in the 30s, the low 30s, and it's cold, so... and he's a little guy, diminutive, so he gets cold quick. So we're going to go out for a quick jaunt, come back, and hopefully watch a 16-point spread with the Giants. And the Giants' record's not that bad. I don't even know. I'm not sure they're going to be in the playoffs or not, but they're not that bad. They might be missing an important player. Peace, y'all.